10 goals against Nashville. That's his most against a single rival with Inter Miami in all competitions. It's his second career hat trick with Inter Miami. Last one he had October 19th, 2024. He had 5 goals this season in MLS against Nashville, 3 more than any other player. I mean, Nashville at home had 12 goals against them, and here's Lionel Messi scoring 3. Here's Inter Miami scoring 5. So it was an impressive night on an impressive night here for now the official golden boot of the season, Sebi. There's so many ways that we can describe him, but how would you describe Lionel Messi's season?
I just think we have to be so appreciative of a guy who's like willing to commit to the bit. We've seen so many guys over the years come to this league and in whatever different way you want to kind of slice it, not really be up for it. This is the greatest player of all time, and he never ceases to amaze, and he especially goes after it in the critical moments. I'm still taken aback, and I know it was a couple friendlies against Venezuela and Puerto Rico, that he leaves Argentina's camp to come back to the United States and play against Atlanta United. He's doing that because he cares about Inter Miami. Not just the Golden Boot, by the way. At that point, they're still in the Shield race. So the fact that we have the greatest player of all time here, and that he's so committed, not just to kind of team success, but his own individual glory hunting this Golden Boot, I think is amazing. And then I think the other thing that I learned, or just take away from this game, is the ruthlessness of kind of the elite players, especially a Messi, versus what we see in MLS. And I think it's why he shines so much. This was the first moment of the game for Inter Miami. It's their first chance. By this time, Nashville could have been up 3 or 4-0. And I think we see it, Nashville's players, they're not as efficient around goal. This guy gets 1/2 of one chance and he scores. And I know they didn't give an assist on the 4th goal, but the pass he hits splits 3 guys in about a 12-yard window. I mean, it's just stuff that really I don't think anybody else on the planet can do, regardless of the level of.
Listen to what Sebi just said for a second. Not as efficient players in Nashville as Messi. Serge was in the fighting for the Golden Boot, and Hani Mukhtar is a former Golden Boot and former MLS MVP of this league, and they're still not at the level of a Messi. He's beyond any player in this league. Despite his age, he just takes over. This is a player who is fighting for the Golden Boot, is fighting to break records, and scored his first penalty kick goal in this game. He also missed one before when the Panenka versus New England. I believe it was
New England, was it?
Montreal, if I believe. I don't know who it was. One of those teams he missed the penalty kick against. And he's also giving penalty kicks away to his teammates, to players trying to make a name for themselves on the team. So he's given up goal contributions. And for us, it's like we're looking at him of making history here. He's looking at it as another day in the office. It was Charlotte, by the way. Thank you, producer Beto. This is another day in the office for him. This is what he does. This is what he's always been doing. So while we are amazed to see what he does at this age, he's not amazed to do what he does at this age. It's one thing committing to the bit. It's another thing to be able to actually do it. And that's what surprised me at his age. Yeah,
at his age especially, the commitment to also stay fit, Sebi, because you can't just play around with that. We know that he hopped off the plane and played that first game for Inter Miami. But how professional has Lionel Messi been here for Inter Miami?
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about like staying fit and how important that is. For a long time around Messi, the conversation has been, well, this guy walks, right? He walks around the field. And I think people mostly thought it was for him to conserve energy, especially as he gets older. What I actually think now, seeing this Nashville match, is he does it part to conserve energy, and stay fit. I think he also does it to lure the other teams to sleep. I think when a guy's... What's that?
Rope-a-dope.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. You know, when the other team is saying, hey, it's 30 minutes into this game. Messi's not really getting on the ball. Inter Miami's super vulnerable. We're about to bang through this door at any moment. He's so capable of finding the space, and I think in the instance of this goal, really creating it. Like, you can see you've talked about angry Messi before. Not angry, but like frustrated Messi. Didn't like how the game was going, and he wheels back 30, 40 yards from goal. He says, I'm not going to wait for it at the top of the box. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to beat 3 or 4 guys, and then I'm going to put it in the back of the net. And, you know, it's so easy to say because we've seen him do it so many times over and over again against much better competition than what we're seeing now.
Well, that's
but I will never not be impressed by that. I'll just never not.
That's the thing, is you're seeing him do it, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, how terrible defensively Nashville was in that moment. But what are you going to do? You force him away, he takes that way, and then he shoots from 30 and bends it in. You give him half a space, he takes advantage of it. You give him a sliver, and he's setting somebody else up, Luis Suarez, and then it's rebound into the goal. you think you're dominating. You think you're in control when you're really not. He's setting you up, and it's what he's always been doing. So I know it's Nashville. It's a recurring victim of his. I don't know if they knew it was going to line up this way, but certainly having to face Nashville in a series of 3 bodes well now for Inter Miami.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting very much used to each other lately, Inter Miami and Nashville. We will never get used to seeing Lionel Messi at such a high level. We want to be here forever with him, but we know things don't last forever. Carlos Vela isn't here anymore, but we were very much focused on that one assist that Lionel Messi needed to tie Carlos Vela's goal contribution of 49 when he did that in the 2019 season, of course, for LAFC. We put these two together to take us to the next question. Sebi, I'm going to start with you. Whose season was more impressive?
Wow. All right, well, everybody in this show knows it's not easy for me to give Carlos Vela his flowers. But despite that, I'm going to say Carlos Vela because of one word that you used, Christina, the word impressive, right? When Lionel Messi came here, I think we all knew exactly what he was going to do. I think I said it on the air. I said a goal and an assist a game, minimum. And that's basically what he's done, maybe even a little bit more. When Carlos Vela came here, I expected Carlos Vela to do very, very well in Major League Soccer. I did not expect him to put up numbers that eventually Lionel Messi would not be able to match. 34 goals in 34 games in a 34-game regular season. I think that's untouchable. I mean, if Messi can't really get close to it, who is? Joseph Martinez got what, 31? I think that's the other closest. I don't think anybody's ever going to break that 34-goal regular season mark if we stay at 34 matches. And the other thing, and of course, if Inter Miami wins MLS Cup, maybe I'm singing a different tune. I think LAFC was better in that year. They won the Shield. They set the points record. So not just from a Vela perspective, but for what it meant to his team, I think I got to go Carlos Vela.
We could be having a very different conversation today if Don Garber and Major League Soccer don't suspend Lionel Messi for the All-Star game. If
the game
he
after,
had an extra game and he plays it, because he played less games than Carlos Vela and missed it by 1. Now,
blaming this on Don Garber.
It's a reality. It's a reality. He's had fewer games to do it. But I'm going to lean Carlos Vela, and only for one reason and one reason only. Carlos Vela had a nemesis that year. He had an actual rivalry, and the league was better for it. The Carlos Vela 34 goals, 15 assists versus Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and how they would publicly have goes at each other using ESPN, using Fox, using TUDN to spice up this rivalry and the games they had against each other. It made Carlos Vela better. There is nobody making Messi better. There is nobody to rival Lionel Messi, to be the nemesis of Lionel Messi. And because of that, I think the narrative here is that it's kind of boring. Messi's doing what he does, and there's no drama. The only drama is, well, will he finally do what we all think they're going to do, is win MLS Cup?
I think
with Carlos Vela Carlos Vela scored 2, Zlatan scored 2. Carlos Vela scored 1, Zlatan scored 2. They were always pushing each other. He has nobody to rival him.
You mentioned the penalties. I think there's like a couple arguments for Messi, just so we don't not say that Messi, has a fair shot in this debate. You mentioned the penalties. There were 9 for Carlos Vela in 2019. Yeah. So if we go off open play goals, it's actually Messi by like 2 or 3. And the other thing I think is age. Like, let's not forget Carlos Vela was effectively in his prime. I think he was 30 in 2019.
29.
Okay, 29 turning 30.
Yeah,
right? I think he turned early in the season.
Zlatan told me.
Lionel Messi's 38. And I know that it's Messi, but 38 is also still 38, right? Yeah. I mean, we don't see a lot of guys at 38, especially in that position. You might see a striker hanging on, or a goalie hanging on, or a center back hanging on. But in that 10, you just don't see a lot of 38-year-old guys.
You know what makes Messi's very impressive? When was Carlos Vela's national team career over?
Basically after the 2018 World Cup.
He had no national team games, no travel. This guy, Messi, at his age, is still making the trips, and they're not close. He's not going down to Mexico. He's not going up to Canada.
Wouldn't
he's
that
not going
make
to Central America.
Lionel Messi more
That's what I'm saying. It's impressive what he's doing at this age.
There's some arguments. There's some arguments for sure for Messi, but I think we can't be prisoners of the moment.
Right.
Like, you did not expect Carlos Vela to score a goal a game. That is just the goals. That's the greatest MLS season we've ever seen on goal contributions as well. And again, I go back to that number 34. Until they start playing more games in an MLS season, I don't think anybody's touching it.
I know it's impossible to predict the future, but we know Sergio Busquets won't be there next season. How can this kind of affect Lionel Messi's effectiveness with Inter Miami?
Well, I think it can make him better. Bear with me. Sergio Busquets is Sergio Busquets. Jordi Alba is Jordi Alba. To get that type of production for any player coming into this league, it's not going to be easy. But Inter Miami can attract all types of talent, and so can Lionel Messi. And if you have two players, big players, one was a DP, one was a TAM player, and who knows, maybe Luis Suarez will retire as well. That could be in his future. You're going to have a lot of money, a lot of space to operate with Messi handpicking who. Seb's saying we may never see that record broken. I could see that record broken next season.
How many more years does he have on his contract? Right, yeah.
You know, I really could. I really could. You set him up with better players, and they're going to get more out of Lionel Messi. He's got that type of ability in a league where the rest of the players don't look like they belong. Not because they don't belong, but because this guy shouldn't be here.
Yeah, he gets by with a lot of help from his friends, right?
Like, I hear you on better players, and from what the team needs, they need guys who can move more. So losing a Busquets, losing a Suarez, you might say, okay, well, we could be better. I think you also have to acknowledge, as great as Messi is, how those guys feed him and how those guys help him. And you might be able to replace them with more mobile guys. You're probably not going to replace them with guys who better understand Messi. That would be my point.